I studied philosophy and religious studies at Stanford University. I was raised in a Jewish family, and our temple was founded by Rabbi Abba Hillel Silver, who's one of the most famous rabbis in all of America. Later on, I studied early Christianity under the tutelage of Dean Gregg of Memorial Church at Stanford. I learned indigenous Chinese religions like Taoism and legalism, Confucianism, Moism, from two of the preeminent Chinese scholars in the United States. As a teen, I practiced Zen Buddhism and TM, and then later on, I spent 15 years living in a Hindu ashram. And along the way, I've also studied the anthropology and sociology and psychology of almost every religion, from shamanism and Aborigines, Native American traditions, everything I could find. And my conclusion after all these years of study and personal practice is that without a shadow of a doubt, is that there is a fundamental unity to all religions. On the surface, religions can seem like they're different. In fact, they can seem like they completely disagree with one another. They have very little in common. But really, it's only the dogmatists and the fundamentalists who insist that their religion is completely unique and utterly different than any other religion on the planet. When you scratch beneath the surface, that's not true. Admittedly, at the surface level, of course all the religions are different. You see different espoused beliefs, different rituals, different languages, different claims about who goes where, when what happens to them. But that's the surface. When you go below that, you start reading the accounts of the saints and the mystics and the sages and the masters, the people who are actually practicing each of these religions. And then when you practice, what you discover is that all of these religious paths and practices take you to the same place in the end, the same destination. But the only people who actually realize this are those of us who take the time to really practice, to do the religion, to do the religious practices, to go beyond belief into the realm of personal experience. All true religions, what they're doing is they're giving us pathways and vehicles that we can raise our consciousness so that we experience levels of consciousness that we're not even aware of in our everyday life. And whether it's a Buddhist chant or a Christian prayer or a Hindu meditation technique, that's really all they're doing, is they're opening and expanding our consciousness. It's a little bit like the analogy of many paths on one mountain lead to the same goal. You can imagine climbing a mountain, and there's many, many different ways to get to the summit of that mountain. You can take this route over here, or there's a route on the other side. One goes straight up, one circles around and meanders its way. One has snow and is cold on this side. The other side has sun exposure and rocky outcroppings. And so while you're walking the paths, it can seem very, very different. And the people who are walking them, if they could talk to each other, would maybe be reporting different experiences. But lo and behold, when you get to the top of the mountain, you realize that everybody has gathered at the same place. We've achieved the same goal. And this is what all the great and true religious paths do. They bring us to the same place, but we can only know this when we put away our dogmatism and put away our childish beliefs and our clinging need to be the one and only way, and we do the hard but profoundly joyful work of practicing these incredibly important and life-changing teachings ourselves.